audio for us both. Alright, now we are live for the Analytics Den. So, guys, I have some updates, and I'm going to have some reactions. So, first things first, I got my mission update. So, I've learned exactly where I'm going to be serving in Denver. I'm going to be serving in the north side of Denver, and I actually know a person who actually even is going there, so it'll be interesting. And I will be going to train in Salt Lake before I go to Denver, kind of like to learn how to be a missionary and learn how to like spread my church stuff. So that'll be interesting. And then my other piece of news is I'm actually going to be able to. I looked at my schedule and looked at my time. I'm actually be able to stream. I didn't think I was going to be able to, but I'm only going to be able to do it like once a weekend. So you guys aren't actually going to be seeing me leave till October 20th. So that's the news for this. So the den isn't gone quite yet, like I initially thought I was going to be. Um, so let's get this started. So I brought in the man, the myth, the legend, the man who's the most consistent live YouTuber out there. He's got to be in the Hall of Fame of Lions fans YouTubers. Is One Pride 40, and he's going. We're going to both be kind of reacting to the 53-man roster, having a Lions versus Eagles prediction. I'm going to be giving off my stat prediction for it. I don't know if One Pride has a stat prediction. Do you?
A stat prediction?
Yeah.
That I can't really predict stats, dude. That's tough.
Okay. There we go. I'm big brain, so I had it ready. All right. So 53-man roster. I'll pull it up. The only thing that's inaccurate from the one I have right now is that David Blau was still on the roster from Breaking It Down. So this is from Tim 20-Mans. So the quarterbacks, obviously Jared Goff stayed, and David Blau and Tim Boyle were cut. So that was actually one thing I was right about my 53-man roster prediction the other day in the Discord. And we brought in Nate Sudfeld. I feel like he's an upgrade over both. It's not like he's Gardner Minshew, not crazy good backup, but I don't. And plus, his backup quarterback, I don't really care too much about that.
What's going on?
Oh, it's just Nate Sudfeld was brought in. And what are your opinions on Nate Sudfeld?
I don't know. I just feel like if you get your backup if your starting quarterback gets hurt, you're screwed no matter what. In my opinion, I don't care who your backup is, because majority of the league, if your starter goes down, you're toast.
And I was even giving it some thought the other day. Is the difference is generally when a QB gets hurt, you don't want them to be gone for the entire season, right? And so hopefully it's only out for 2 or 3 games. So Dan Campbell actually talked about that. Ideally a backup should never play, but if they are going to be out there, it's only going to be for like 1 or 2, 3 games. And you hope that they can steer their ship. So like if they come out there, you're not a guaranteed loss, and they won't like lose the game, and they could maybe win a game. And so I think that's been interesting. But I've also given it. Here's the thing. I really don't care about it for the regular season because, like Dr. Troy says, backup position's like a joke. I'm surprised so many people care about it. But
it's a little overrated.
Yeah, I completely agree. At least specifically by Lions fans. I don't know why everyone freaks out about it. But the only reason I somewhat am liking that we grabbed Sudfeld is he's a preseason quarterback, and is in the preseason, Tim Boyle and David Blau, I really think might have cost some receivers and tight ends and players their jobs. Because, man, they couldn't hit targets. I mean, guys were getting open, of course, but none of them could really get the targets in, missed touchdown opportunities. I mean, really, the only receiver I think that truly lost his job that wasn't blamed by quarterback play was Pimpleton, but that's because he dropped 2 touchdown catches. But
we all seen that one coming. He was literally like the first cut.
Yep. Also, thank you, Dr. Detroit. Nice to see you in the live, man. And, yeah, I'm doing great, man. Great with the crash recovery. But yeah, I'm going to be here till October 20th now because I'm a lot more free due to some recent events. And also, I just looked at my schedule and I'm actually not going to be as busy as I thought I was going to be when I first said I was going to not be streaming till I come back.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, so now we go down more. So, running backs. So, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, and Craig Reynolds made it. And we don't have a running back for it. Jamar Jefferson got waived yesterday. and he's now been put on the practice squad.
Honestly, don't be surprised if they bring up Justin Jackson.
Well, actually, here's the thing. So apparently, according to practice squad rules, you can elevate 2 players on the practice squad to your game day roster. So my thought process is, so we have Maurice Alexander and we have Justin Jackson, who I think are the guys who could maybe contribute on a game day basis. So if we need a running back 4, I think we could like elevate Justin Jackson or Jamar. Hopefully we don't elevate Jamar, but Justin Jackson could be elevated, and Maurice Alexander can be elevated, and Alexander could maybe be our kick returner. Maybe I don't. That's just my personal theory. Maybe what's going on, but I think technically we basically have running back 4 because I'm sure we'll protect Justin Jackson, Aldrick Rosas, I think that kicker we added, and I think we also protect Maurice Alexander.
I think so too.
And so that's probably what I think was right there. And it's actually pretty neat because that also opens up other roster spots for us by only having 2 quarterbacks and 3 running backs. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, we're only carrying 5 receivers.
Yeah. So we had a lot of roster spots open on the way, and I think it's kind of clever how we did them all. And I think kind of like this receiver core, I think the first 5 receivers, they were locks. There's no way anybody was thinking the first 4 was going to be gone. I'm pretty sure everyone was like pretty much confident Quintez Cephas was going to make the roster.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, I always said like, it's going to be J-Mo, Chark, Amon-Ra, Reynolds, and then like you said, Cephas. But we all thought that Benson was going to be on board, but he's not.
Or at least just a 6 receiver. I thought one of these guys might have made it. But I guess it's probably because Tom Kennedy didn't have enough special teams value, and he's always kind of been a preseason goat, so maybe that's the reason. Benson apparently was hurt though. I don't know what I didn't notice him being hurt. Did you? I didn't. Maybe he got hurt in practice. I don't know.
Who, Benson?
Yeah, apparently he got waived injured.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Holmes got DL on that one.
Yeah, definitely. Pimpleton, everyone saw that coming, and then Alexander, everyone's like, okay, maybe he might stay for kick return value, but. He's gone, and then of course J-Mo's on. So technically, we have 6 receivers already since we already have Cephas on the roster. But like since he's on NFLI, we're tight end. I think I'll say this. I was actually genuinely surprised we kept 4 tight ends. I know some people predicted it. I just was like, oh come on, what's the point? It's not like tight end 3 plays that much. There's no reason to keep 4 tight ends out there, but. I guess since we don't have 4 running backs, 3 quarterbacks, or 6 receiver, we just kept an open spot for our promising 5th round tight end, I guess.
All right. Well, Doc has a question. He said, "Guys, what are the weakest position groups on this team? Rank 1, 2, and 3."
Weakest position group, I would say, is either linebacker or corner.
I'd probably go linebacker.
Yeah, I would probably say linebacker would be number 1 because I don't think we have a single one that's like super threatening or super dangerous. I think we have like one guy who can actually get like, be good all around. I think that's Rodriguez, but I don't think he's gonna. I think it's gonna be like a Nick Bolton. He'll get you 100 tackles. He won't be a liability in coverage, but he's not gonna be like overly dominant out there.
Mm-hmm.
And Barnes, I think, could be a nice run stuffer, but I am going to wait and see before I think he can be anything. And
Solid, great.
Yeah, and Alex Anzalone is Alex Anzalone.
Yeah, at least we don't have Jared Davis.
Yeah, and then corner.
You're not wrong there. He mostly. He says cornerback, safety, linebacker. I probably move linebacker up.
Yeah, I think linebackers are. I think cornerback and linebacker should be like the unanimous big 2 weaknesses.
I agree. I think we do need another DT. Yeah.
Well, and the reason I also say this linebacker is such a weakness is we're basically running out with the same linebackers as we did last year. Alexander and Derek Barnes are probably going to be the starters, with Rodriguez kind of being like in there a lot. And maybe there's like a package where a certain player comes out, like maybe I don't know. And so it's just kind of like, we basically just added Rodriguez. Oh, that's not.
I think it's probably gonna be Rodriguez, and we're probably gonna sign a linebacker, or we're probably gonna draft one. Yeah. I'm probably going with the number 2 option.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I do like Rodriguez. I still have his nickname Rodrigo, but I don't know. I know a lot of people like him, but and I like him too. I don't think he'll be insane. I just think he'll be good. I think he'll be starting early. Like I was watching Luke G's live on him today, and like
Absolutely not.
yeah, and that's the thing is I'm kind of like the middle ground of Luke. Luke's kind of like, oh, he was supposed to be a special teams only. This is a bad sign for our team. He sucks. Well, not sucks, but he prays he's going to be good, but he doesn't think he will be. Kind of a
Oh, he'll
deal.
be
And
good, but like we
yeah,
don't have like that. I'm not saying we're gonna draft the next Ray Lewis, but we don't have that level of linebacker. I agree
yeah,
with that.
yeah. And then there's also some of the other side of the aisle where like it's people are like, oh, Melrod is going to pop off. Like I saw a guy named Mike Dumas be like, he's going to have 25 tackles for a loss and 140. I was like, no, 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 chill, guys.
That's a little much. That's mad
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah. I'm kind of more the yeah, I'm more the middle ground of that. And
That's
then the
3'8".
cornerback room is very concerning, though. I think me and you talked about this the other day. I'm not convinced Amani or Waterway can handle being cornerback one. And I mean, come on, and he really got burned in unimportant situations. He's not that guy, and the only reason his rating was any good is because he kept having tipped interceptions. I think he's an okay cornerback too. I think he'd be solid there. I just don't think he's that good. Jeff Okuda, so he's coming off a really strong preseason and a really
Mm-hmm.
strong training camp, and I'm a little bit excited to see where he goes, but he's still such a big question mark that I can't say I'm confident in him.
Well,
Like,
I feel a lot better in him.
oh yeah, I do too. I mean, I was a pretty big Jeff Okuda hater. I was actually kind of saying that I wanted to draft a cornerback this offseason and really get
Man,
some, or at least get a big veteran to compete with him for a spot. But we didn't do that, and he at least had a really strong preseason and offseason. So at least I don't think he'll be a liability. He definitely has the highest ceiling out of our cornerback room.
well, you picked him number 3. He better have the highest ceiling.
Yeah, yeah. Like Dr. Detroit even kind of look at this. He says especially 24 was getting burned in camp. That was so true. I remember I kept reading that DJ Chark kept burning Amani O. Or
Which
even
safety
Josh
we
Reynolds
talking
was
here,
burning him a
Doc? We
couple
talking
times.
Tracy Walker, Kirby? What are we talking here?
And even at slot corner, Mike Hughes, he was only okay. I don't think he's a great or bad slot, but he's kind of like eh. I don't think he'll hold us back, but I don't think he's going to be like shut down. Like we know for sure, no slot receiver is going to just pop off on that guy.
Mm-hmm. All right,
And so
so
it's
the 53, we're talking about.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's just all that entire quarterback course is concerning. But and back to the 53. So I kind of so back talking about tight ends. I'm not surprised that these guys made it. Besides for like maybe four.
You're carrying a
Shane
lot.
Zilcher was our what?
You're carrying a lot of tight ends.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised that these three made it. I'm just surprised that James made it because he didn't do anything those preseason games. I thought maybe he'd just go in the practice squad, but I guess since he's a draft pick, he was given leeway. But Shane Zilcher was the second best tight end in camp. Apparently, he kept repping with the ones, and he's improved his blocking. So him and Hawk are probably our best pass catchers, and Brock Wright's our best blocker.
Mm-hmm.
Mitchell, I think, is just kind of like the project tight end. I don't think we're going to really see much of him until next year.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't get that pick.
I don't either. I really thought we had. I don't think you need to have a crazy good tight end too. Honestly, I mean they aren't used that much. I mean, what the only team I can think of, only couple teams I can think of that actually had like a dominant tight end duo was the Patriots of Hernandez and Gronk, and then Eagles with Goddard and Ertz.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, we could have used that pick on a safety or a linebacker. Hell,
Well,
even
I would have preferred like an offensive tackle or
yeah. I mean, shit, excuse my
yeah,
language. Yeah.
yeah, like an offensive tackle. I would have preferred. I would have preferred maybe safety, like you said. I'd maybe preferred another corner, and many other spots I would have addressed first.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think
not
it's
surprised about it. There's also the reason I was also like that is because I also kind of like Shane Zylstra as a receiving tight end. I kind of like Brock Wright as a blocking tight end. Those are the positions that Campbell likes his tight ends to be having a receiving tight end and then a blocking tight end and then all around tight end.
Right.
I don't know. Offensive line. I actually predicted this entire offensive line. Actually,
We all expected this. Like we all expected our studs, like Sewell and
yeah,
Jonah, Rags and Decker. We all expected those guys.
yeah. Well, I'm not surprised Craven and Stenberg made it. Those two just put on such good performances. I don't think either of them, were going to go.
Actually, I had high hopes for when we drafted him, but
Yeah,
he kind of sucked like
yeah.
last few years. But he played decent during the preseason, so I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's always kind of a project guard. And then defensive line, I don't think any of these were really any surprises. And move on from there. I guess it's a good group, besides for maybe that 3-tech defensive tackle. But linebacker, the only thing I was a bit surprised about was Josh Woods over Anthony Pittman.
Mm-hmm.
I had Anthony Pittman over Woods because Pittman's had our most special team snaps, and I think he's a little bit more of an all around linebacker, and he's been good at the Sam position. But I guess Josh Woods hasn't really made that much mistakes in the preseason, I would assume, and so they chose Josh Woods. And then for the cornerback core, I guess the secondary, as this is listed. Not surprised any of these guys made it. I'm very happy. I predicted Chase Lucas the moment we drafted him that he would make the roster. I really liked Chase Lucas, so I'm happy he proved me right.
Yeah, no
Bobby
kidding. I
Price,
thought he
he's
was.
that great gunner. I think he had the most special teams tackle for us last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I I like that, and I'm not surprised about any of these.
Honestly, you actually
Um,
thought that Chase Lucas was gonna get cut in the Discord.
yeah. Then Austin Seibert, I kind of saw him coming over Ray Patterson the moment that camp started, and I was like, he has the stronger leg. I think he's only slightly less accurate inside there. And Patterson really was a lot more inconsistent than I thought he'd be in training camp, so I'm not surprised Seibert made it.
Mm-hmm. Doc, I got a question for you. So, do you believe this roster improved?
What'd you say?
No, I'm asking Doc a question. Do you think this roster improved? If he's still in this chat.
Oh, okay. We actually got two viewers. What up, second viewer?
All right. Well, if he, I hope, yeah.
Yeah, and he was actually talking about the safeties earlier too. I kind of missed a lot. Whoops.
Well, see, I like Iffy. I mean, I like Kirby too, but he's kind of a developmental guy. Mostly, our only like a real good safety on our roster, in my opinion, is Walker.
Mm,
He's at least proven, at least.
yeah. Yeah. All right, that's true. Well, okay. So I think Elliott is not going to be a dominant safety. I think he's a safety that he's gonna be the prevent big plays safety. So like he actually did that a couple of times during the preseason and training camp, or maybe like a big run happens and he clutches up and stops a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be an improvement. I think he's going to be fine for run defense. I worry about him in coverage. I remember I was joking around if that man was getting beat all the time in coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Walker, I think is going to be fantastic. I love Tracy Walker.
Yep.
Kirby is raw. Kirby, I think, will kind of maybe have some issues. I could see him be a little bit of a
Well, we got
liability.
coaching, so I'm not worried about it. Pleasant's a really
Yeah.
good coach.
Well, in starting safeties, almost always play 95% or more of the snaps every year, so it's not like Kirby's going to be out there all that much.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I don't know. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
All right, so are we ready to compare Eagles to the Lions?
Yeah. Just let me answer Dr. Detroit's question real quick. He says, Den, what is your prediction for the record this year? I think the Eagles game will decide how really much I predict. I've kind of joked around that we're going to go 11-6 because of the weakness of our schedule and how confident I am in our offense. But the Eagles game, I think, will prove it. They're a team that's fairly well even on both sides of football. They're kind of around our talent, but they're not going to be like an elite talent. And so I think they're going to be kind of deciders. Can we face teams that are going to be close as good to us, or can we only beat bad teams? Because if we only beat bad teams, I don't know if we'll have that good of a record. But if we can beat Eagles, that makes me a lot more confident that we can beat the Vikings, that we can beat the Dolphins, that we can.
Dude, you compared Sirianni to Caldwell.
Yeah, yeah, and so I think that's going to be the big thing. And Eagles, I'm also I know a lot of people like for example, One Pride's a lot more confident that we're going to lose to the Eagles, but I'm a little bit more like it's going to be close. I could see either way. But if we beat the Eagles, I'm thinking 11-6 only because of schedule. If we didn't have if we had a harder schedule, even a mediocre, maybe above average schedule, I'd maybe say more of an 8 wins. But since we have here, actually, I'm gonna pull up the schedule. That way, I don't seem so crazy to the doctor to
But
get
we'll
a
see.
diagnosis.
Our offense is probably going to be what's running this team.
Oh, I completely agree. Defense is not good. I think defense at best is going to be ranked 20th.
Mid. You just want it to be mid.
Yeah,
You're not asking it to be Baltimore Ravens.
yeah. So looking at the schedule, I think Washington's beatable, Minnesota's beatable, Seattle's beatable. I think New England with Matt Patricia's play calling could very well be beatable. We'll see what happens with that. I think Miami's beatable. Chicago's definitely beatable. New York definitely beatable. Jacksonville definitely beatable.
Oh,
That's
they run
eight.
like a mannequin.
Yeah, that's 8 wins. We'll see if we can 2-0 Vikings. Then you got the Jets, who is beatable, and Panthers, who are beatable in Chicago. My prediction that I did the other day, I kind of went through the schedule. I like to have one trap game,
My
and so I don't want like this. I had a W for Philly, W for Washington. I had an L for Minnesota since we're going to their home. So it's 2 wins. So Seattle was my third win. New England was my fourth win. Miami was the fifth win. Chicago was sixth win. New York was seventh win. Jacksonville was eighth win. Minnesota was ninth win. New York was 10th win. But I think we might have a trap game versus Carolina. So then Chicago will be 11th win, but we lose both times to the Packers. I think we'll mostly feast off the easier schedule, but we'll beat some okay teams, I think.
No, here's where I'm going to disagree. If you're saying we're going to get swept by the Packers,
Yeah, I think we will.
no, I think we're going to split.
We'll see. I just can't see myself giving us wins over the Packers. Because if we beat
Well,
the Packers even once, I mean, I can't see us get the 12 wins. I don't know. I just
well,
think
here's
it's the
the
strength of
thing.
schedule that makes me. And I don't want to give us a huge, crazy schedule. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Here's the
I'm
thing.
just a lot more confident in the Packers than maybe other people are.
I think we split with them because, like, do we play them at home the last game of the regular season?
No, we were at our home.
Last game, right?
Yeah, last game.
I think at that time they probably might have a playoff spot locked up, and they probably just sit their studs.
Yeah, they did. They set the starters after the half, but yeah, regardless though. I don't think the Packers will actually be sitting their starters this time. I don't think they're going to be good enough to be needing to sit their starters this time. I think they're going to be wild card guys, but yeah. All right, so now to move on to the Lions versus Eagles prediction. Um, and there we go. So I already kind of reacted to the 53-man roster. So score, I think Lions win 24, Eagles 21. I think it won't be necessarily a high scoring game, but it'll be definitely offensively decided. And for my Jared Goff stats, I think he's got a 65% completion percentage, 290 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't have attempts because I don't want to calculate the yards per throw. DeAndre Swift, I think, will have 68 yards, 4.1 yards per carry. I don't think it'll be anything crazy. Eagles have a fairly good run defense. Jamal Williams, I think, will have 45 yards, 4 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. I think that 1 touchdown will be like a red zone score. Receiver, I think DJ Chark will have 3 catches, 50 yards, and 1 touchdown. And I think he's mostly going to be shut down by Darius Slay, but I do think Chark will have like one big play. I think his touchdown will probably be. I did not mean to give him a touchdown actually, but I think he'll have maybe one big play to get some a good amount of yards. Josh Reynolds, I think he'll be mostly shut down by James Bradbury. Maybe he'll have like a nice 15-yard catch later, but I don't think he'll do much. Monroe St. Brown, I think, is going to absolutely feast on Avonte Maddox and have 8 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. TJ Hawkinson, I think, will have 7 catches for 88 yards and 1 touchdown. I think he'll do a pretty good job against those Eagles linebackers and safeties.
So wait,
And then
does Amon Ra
What'd you say?
So does Amon-Ra eclipse 100?
Yeah, I think he does.
Okay, all right.
That's why, yeah. And then Shane Zylstra gets 2 catches, 20 yards. And then I kind of had like some other, and who knows, maybe there's some other irrelevant stats that get caught. So like maybe Quintus Cephas gets like a 1 catch for 10 yards, and Swift has a couple yards receiving, and Jamal does too to get it to like 290 for Goff's passing. I just didn't want to put those in. And here's how I think the O line will play. I think we'll probably allow 1 to 2 sacks and allow limited pressure, but I think we won't do as good run blocking because you got Jordan Davis in there, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave. And then for the defensive ends, I think Aiden Hutchinson will have 4 tackles, 1 sack, 4 pressures. I think it'll be a pretty dang good game for him. Because the thing with the sack and pressure. So here's what I love about Aiden Hutchinson. I'm gonna absolutely praise him here. The dude, if you stop him with tackle, I don't know how to pronounce the other Eagles tackle, but if say Lane Johnson stopped Aiden Hutchinson, you can switch Aiden Hutchinson to the other side of the defensive ball. Or if both tackles are somehow stopping Aiden Hutchinson, you can put him at 3 tech and he can get you a sack and a pressure. That's what I think is so amazing about Aiden Hutchinson is this dude. He can move everywhere and he does everywhere well.
Right.
Charles Harris, 3 tackles, 2 pressures. I don't think he'll do anything crazy. They get some good tackles. He's not quite as versatile as Hutch. Defensive tackles. Liam McNeil, 4 tackles, maybe 1 pressure, kind of stretching it a bit. He takes a good amount of double teams, especially on the run plays. Michael Brockers, 2 tackles, because he's Michael Brockers. Demetrius Traylor's 2 tackles, maybe 2 pressures on sub packages. John Kaminsky, 3 tackles, 2 pressures. Linebackers, Alex Anzalone, I think he gets 4 tackles, but I do think he allows a passing touchdown, and I even think he might allow a rushing touchdown as well. Derek Barnes, 6 tackles, 1 pressure, 1 QB hurry. Malcolm Rodriguez, 4 tackles, 1 QB hurry. Safeties, I think Tracy Walker gets 10 tackles and maybe 2 to 1 pass defenses. 2 to 1 pass defense. Wow. And Deshaun Elliott, I think it's 7 tackles, and Kirby, think it's 4 because he's also going to be playing a safety 3 spot, so he'll be out there occasionally.
Any turnovers?
No, I don't think there'll be a turnover. Maybe a forced fumble, but I don't really know how to predict a forced fumble.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna. I can't do player stats like that, but
Oh
I might give you a player of the game.
yeah, yeah,
So
that's fine. I guess you're just here to be like, okay, yeah, I could see that, or whatever, or maybe disagree.
okay, no, I'm good.
Yeah, Amani, I think he'll get 3 tackles, but he'll allow a touchdown from AJ Brown, and he'll have 63% completion percentage. Jeff Okuda, I think, will have 4 tackles, 1 for loss, 49% completion percentage, and 0 touchdown allowed. I think he has the ability to stop someone like Devontae Smith. Mike Hughes will have 4 tackles. It's hard to predict slot stats, so I didn't really put any for him, but I think he'll be okay. He won't be a liability. But also, the Eagles slot receiver, I don't think is that good. Will Harris will come in occasionally because you need rotation at cornerback, so he gets like a couple tackles in there. And then for special teams, I have Austin Seibert. He goes 1 of 1 for 40-yard kick. That's like a 40-yard kick in that range, and he goes 3 of 3 of extra points. I just put Raymond's punt return yardage at yards return. That's what I kind of put. I gave him 11 yards return because that's what his yards return last year was. And I put Craig Reynolds for 25 kick return yards average. I think he'll mostly just do touchbacks, but he was also pretty good at getting to the 25-yard line in college and in preseason.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my kind of statistical predictions. I guess since you talked about player of the games, right?
Yeah, so I'll do my score prediction.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be
You'll give out your score predictions and your player of the
scoring.
game.
I'm going to go 34-28 Eagles. Even though we lost, I'll give the game ball to St. Brown, but I think Devontae Smith, I think we're going to move him in the slot, and you're going to and he's just going to absolutely feast on Mike Hughes.
Who's a beast in the slot?
Feast. Devontae Smith. I think we're going to move him in the slot and have him, and he's going to feast.
Huh? I don't know if he played any slot in the NFL last year, did he?
He did it at Bama.
Let me see. Devontae Smith slot snaps because
Because if that happens, we're in trouble.
yeah, he only logged 95 snaps in slot last year, so we'll see.
Never
Maybe.
mind. Well, he might be on a mont. I don't know who's going to cover him, but like we don't have like that the alpha male corner, like the alpha dog corner.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. Um, so who's your best player on defense for the game though?
For the Eagles?
For the Lions.
For the Lions. Do I really need to say that?
Sure, yeah, you got to.
Hutch. It's a no brainer.
All right, it's pretty fair. My player of the game, um, I'll probably say Jared Goff, but only because I think the reason I'm going to give it to Jared Goff is everyone has a lot of doubts towards him, and I think him having a big game versus Philly is going to earn him that game ball. Especially because I also think T.J. Hawkinson, I had him having a good game. I had Monroe having a good game, and DJ Chark, I think, makes a big splash play. And so I think that gains Goff some respect, and I think he gets that game ball. And then defensively, I'd probably have to agree with that. I think probably Hutch, and the only other player I can see maybe get the game balls like Tracy Walker if he makes like a clutch tackle or something.
All right. So who's your game ball? So that's your Lions game ball. Who's your Eagles game ball?
Probably give AJ Brown. I think he's probably gonna do pretty good against Amani. I don't think he'll go crazy or anything, but because I do think Tracy Walker's will probably help not put Amani on an island. I think putting Amani on an island is very dumb. But I'll probably say AJ Brown. I think he's going to make a touchdown, and he'll make probably a couple clutch catches.
Well, Aaron not that stupid.
Yeah,
We don't have
and yeah, and then for defense, I'd probably say my game ball would probably have to go to Chauncey Gardner Johnson, maybe.
honestly, I think they could possibly move him in the slot and cover Amon Ra.
Maybe, except their backup safeties are trash.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I really don't know if they would risk having bad safeties out there because that could be a lot of problems, as Will Harris has shown.
So they're not that deep then.
Yeah, they're not that, but I think it'll be close. I think it'll be close. I could see either way. I just don't think it's going to be a high scoring game or a secured loss.
It's not like what happened last year, basically.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't think it'll be like last year where we get owned for an entire half and then then
That,
come back. I think this is going to be a game where it's going to be close the entire game, and that's what I think is going to kind of happen. I mean, the issue is I don't like Jalen Hurts. The dude had a worse touchdown pick ratio than Jared Goff last year, and he had less touchdowns than Jared Goff. He had less yards than Jared Goff, I believe. Let me check Jared Goff. And the reason I say this is you guys know I'm a Jared Goff fan, but he mostly played terrible the entire year. Besides for that last 6 games where he had a top 10 efficiency rating, and I'll actually explain some Jared Goff numbers. But yeah, Jalen Hurts had less yards than Jared Goff, and I think Jalen Hurts played all 16 games. Sorry, no. Jalen Hurts in 15 games had less yards than Jared Goff, worse touchdown pick ratio, less touchdowns than Jared Goff. He had a smaller completion percentage than Jared Goff as well, and he had more interceptions than Jared Goff, worse rating than Jared Goff. And for all the made fun of that Jared Goff gets for fumbles, he had less fumbles than Jared Goff. Like this dude isn't good. I don't know why everybody hypes him up because he gets a flashy play every now and then. Miles Sanders had 0 rushing touchdowns last year as well, and I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons. Lions' run defense sucks, but apparently the Eagles' run game sucks too.
Well, everyone likes them run first quarterbacks.
Yeah. And kind of, I'm sure, like, maybe Dr. George would be like, oh, but Dan, how could you think it's going to be close or even the Lions are going to win? The Eagles blew us up last year. Well, my good friends, the Eagles faced us when we had Khalif Raymond as receiver 1, no Taylor Decker, had Penei Sewell at left tackle. We had the third most injured team in the league, which had a lot more, even with a lot more key players injured. We didn't have Jeff Okuda. We didn't have a good slot. We didn't have a good strong safety because Will Harris was still our starting strong safety at the time. We didn't have year two Liam McNeil. We didn't have Aiden Hutchinson. I don't even think we had T.J. Hawkinson that game.
No, we did. I think we did.
Did we have T.J. Hawkinson that game? Let me check.
We did.
I think that was the game he got hurt actually.
No. He got hurt in the bikes.
Yeah, because wasn't he hurt for like the 3 game period? KFR will show me.
Exactly, James.
Oh yeah, he actually did play in Philly. I don't know why I didn't think he did. He actually had a pretty good game, 89 yards.
Exactly, James. No, all they do is run the ball on us, Miles Sanders, and that's about it.
Yeah, and so I think that's just going to be a lot easier for us to handle Eagles this year because our entire team isn't hurt, and we have a lot better players too. Like we have DJ Chark, we have Josh Reynolds, we have year 2 Amon Ra. Cephas is going to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Hawk is healthy. Decker is healthy. Ragnow is healthy. And we also have better play calling because Anthony Lynn was still calling plays. The guy who had Amon Ra run the same route 30% of the time, literally, that's statistically true. He kept running, I think it was in routes for Amon Ra. You don't run the same route all the time, man.
We didn't even look to him.
Yeah.
Lynn was horrible. I didn't really
Yeah.
care for that. When we hired Lynn, I was like, I didn't care for it. You can still hear it though, right? Loud and clear.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Also, James is in the live. I guess Dr. Troy must have left. He says, "Run first QB is great for fantasy, not so great for the NFL." 100%.
Yep. Hey, but I had Justin Herbert last year, and he won me the league. So
What?
I had Justin Herbert last year, and he won me the league.
Nice.
Hey,
Yeah, overall, I'm really excited for the game. I'm not guaranteeing a win at all, but I'm very, very excited to see what kind of like happens, and we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and, oh great! I was actually just about to make this point. I was about to say, how like a lot of people are like, oh, we can't do well versus mobile QBs for some reason. We stopped Jalen Hurts we stopped Kyler Murray last year. Lamar didn't even have that good of a game versus us last year. In fact, we actually we're freaking the anti Kyler Murray. We're like Kyler Murray's kryptonite lately for some reason. 3 years that dude has not beaten us.
I don't know how. I just think that his contract's just hilarious to me. The whole freak. He gets paid extra for doing his job.
Mm-hmm.
Like his contract, he has to watch film, so he wasn't watching film this whole time.
Yeah. Well, and I was looking actually yesterday because me and Ram's house were kind of talking to you guys about how Fletcher Cox is on the decline. I'm like, I wonder how old of a team the Eagles freaking are. And I was trying to look at all their star players and kind of their ages, and I was like, okay, the 3 main defensive stars are what? Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, and Darius Slay, and then they have the new ads of Gardner Johnson and Reddick.
Yeah, you got to remember too. Defense, not defense, offense. You got Devontae Smith, Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is kind of mid though.
Yeah,
and AJ,
but
then you got
right now I'm just talking about defense. But a defense, because this is the main thing. I think the issue is I think our offense is capable of keeping up with another offense. But Brandon Graham is 34 years old. That's an old dude. That's a guy who can fall off any time. And he's apparently coming off an injury. I don't know what his injury was, but there's no way Brandon Graham had this kind of a stat line last year. So he's coming off an injury. And then you have Fletcher Cox, who is 31 years old, and I actually believe he's turning 32 this season. And he's kind of like been on a slight decline the last 3 years. He went from 5.5 and up to suddenly going from 3.5, and then he had a kind of a bounce back year, and then 3.5 in pass rush. And he's kind of, I don't know, he's just not the same run stuffer he was from like 2013 to 2015. And also, even if you aren't like totally convinced, because it's only like a slight decline, I guess. The dude is going to be 32, and I don't know. I also just was watching him the other day, and I don't think he looks the same as he did when I used to watch him.
Yep. Then you got Javon Hargrave.
Yeah,
Well, we're talking about
I
defense.
think that's fun. Yeah, yeah. It was an Achilles. Whew. But Jayvon Hargrave, this dude coming off a pretty good year. I believe he had 63 tackles and 7.5 sacks. So he's a fairly good dude, but he's also 29, and actually, I think he might be turning 30 this year.
I want to
Hargrave age. Oh no, never mind. He already turned 29. But
Hargrave.
yeah, he's getting 29. It's a fairly normal age. I don't think it's going to be too much of a decline. But you know, what the top three guys, the defensive line, the youngest guy's 29.
Well,
Ooh.
remember, picked up Jordan Davis too.
Yep, he's not starting. And even then, he's a rookie. I'm talking about the guys who are proven and in their starting lineup. And the youngest guy is 29. That's actually like really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course Darius Slay. Darius Slay, I think he's gonna be fine. He's Darius Slay. He's 31 years old. It's another guy though. So let's see, 3 out of 4 of their top starting defensive guys are 30 years old plus. And then James Bradbury, I think, is 29, and he's turning 30 this year. So 20. So 5 out of 5 have been 29 years or older. How they're
That's all
starting lineup.
does, right?
Like, this is an old defense, man. Hassan
Looks
Reddick, I think he's pretty young. Isn't he? He's 27, so yeah, he's
and it
probably
looks
the
like
youngest big name guy they have. That's a starter.
they don't have no linebackers.
Yeah, and so that's just the thing. And also you know like
My
Jayvon
bad,
Hargrave,
TJ.
he's pretty good. I kind of think the only reason he had such a big year last year was yeah, he had some other pieces because the year before he also had 4.5 sacks. He had 4 sacks, 2 sacks, 2 sacks. He's kind of like he's just an okay pass rushing defense tackle. Kind of sometimes have a pretty good sack total.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like he's some like you, there's no way if Jonah Jackson's good, there's no way that Jayvon Hargrave's gonna have like a crazy good game on him. So like really the only player I'm worried about in terms of pass rush is Hassan Reddick, and I'm not really concerned about anyone else too much.
Well, they'll probably put like. Do you think Decker? Yeah, I think Decker can handle Riddick.
I think Decker can handle. I think Decker and Sewell can handle Reddick. Doesn't
Right.
matter where he lines up. And Marcus Epps sucks. Gardner Johnson, Gardner Johnson and Reddick are the only young guys that are actually good. Like that, in my opinion, that can take it as you will, but I just think that means a lot of these guys can suddenly just fall off when they weren't supposed to, or they won't produce as much as younger guys.
I mean, it's
And
possible that we could possibly see the Eagles in rebuild mode.
yeah, but also I just think that their team's a little bit overrated. None of these guys are really going to be the same as they were when they're younger. I think really only I don't know. I just a lot of people are telling me that this is a scary group, and I don't think it's that incredibly scary. Slay and
But
Bradbury are going to be a fine duo, I guess. Yeah, and and same thing with Gardner Johnson. Gardner Johnson, by the way, I think he might actually have some issues because he played slot corner back in New Orleans a lot more than he played free safety. Because the two starting safeties were Marcus Williams and what's the other guy's name? My brain's hurting.
Jacobs.
Yeah, yeah, and so Gardner Johnson was like the safety three, rotating, and occasionally, and even then, it's not like his numbers were crazy. I think he had. Here, I'll pull it up. Yeah, his coverage
Rams house at
numbers
this point does say
63%,
defense.
pretty okay. He's just coming off his best year though, 67.7 rating. He only had 46 tackles last year, 66 the year before, 49 last year. He's more of a coverage guy, I would say, than anything. But even then, the 2 years prior, one interception his rookie year, one interception the year before. I don't know. I think he's pretty overrated. I don't think he's this absolute shutdown player. So really, who's their unstoppable player? Reddick can definitely get stopped. I think Fletcher Cox can get handled by Ragnow. Hargrave should be handled by Jonah Jackson. I don't think Brandon Graham's much of a threat. Sweat is mid. Darius Slay's going to be pretty good, but I don't think he's unstoppable. He'll probably do a good job handling Chark, though, from having a great game. Bradbury could probably handle Josh Reynolds. Marcus Epps sucks. I, I just don't think that defense is as good as people think it is. I don't know.
Yeah, you all right high on naps. I can see that.
Yeah. But, see, Rams House is stuck. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my Google page. I can't look at the comments on here, homie.
I'm looking at him. I think they're kind of funny. That's not
Okay, what does he say?
a Midville, USA.
Ooh,
He's done a
Midville, USA.
oh,
Oh, you think Reddick's mid? I thought he was a pretty good pass rusher. He's like 2 straight seasons of double-digit sacks and I think 30-plus pressures. Oh, you don't even think Gardner Johnson is good?
holy cow!
Linebackers are mid. I agree. D-line is good and getting older, coming off injuries. Yep. And yeah, I apologize, sir. I don't have a third eye, which I can use to go back to my stream when I'm looking at ESPN like this.
So you're basically saying none of these guys are keeping you up at night.
Yeah. Yeah. And then their offense, their offense is a bit better. I mean, they're just held back by a trash quarterback and a running back that had 0 rushing touchdowns last year. This guy had 0. Like, we all make fun of Swift on here, but at least Swift can get a touchdown. How does this dude have 0 rushing touchdowns?
Well, I think their offense is a lot younger, and yeah, Jalen Hurts is not that impressive.
Like, okay, and then even people be like, oh, but Den, they're a playoff team. They're so freaking. They're a playoff team. There's no way you should say the Lions are going to beat a playoff team. They beat the Falcons. They beat the Carolina Panthers. They beat us. They beat Denver. They beat New Orleans. And New Orleans had Trevor Siemian out there. They faced that's the only team that they beat that was a 500 record team. That's the only team they beat was Trevor Siemian led Saints. Because they beat the Falcons, not a 500 team. Carolina, not a 500 team. Detroit, definitely not a 500 team. Denver, not a 500 team. New Orleans is the 500 team, but they had Siemian out there. New York, Washington, New York, and Washington. The only reason they made the playoffs is because they were in the NFC least. And then what happens when they face an actual playoff team in Tampa Bay? 31-15.
James,
So
Jordan Davis.
keep talking.
Jordan Davis is good, but he's just a run stopper.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, here's the thing. Jordan Davis, love the dude. Absolute beast. But he's a nose tackle. And I don't think he's gonna go crazy or be too much of an issue.
Into Ragnar is probably the best center in the league.
Yeah, I think so. Also, Frank Ragnar's best center in the game. I think he's gonna be able to handle Jordan Davis. You're right. And yeah, I think they list him as a outside linebacker for some reason.
Now, if we had like a mid center, then I'd probably be concerned.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I don't know. I don't know why everyone's just so confident that we're gonna lose to the Eagles. Like I saw ESPN only one guy have us in for the Lions game. I was in the Private Detroit Discord, and I was having to fight for everyone trying to say, yeah, we actually have a chance to beat them. They're like, nah, guaranteed L. They're so much better. And even my own Discord, you and Poco and what's his name, Drew was coming at me and being like, yeah, no, they're also gonna lose. So I'm like, maybe they are a better team. And then I actually looked at them and I'm like, what? How is this a secured L? I think it could go either way, but I think it's going to be a close game. Secured L's, I feel like, are like blowouts or like they're dominant throughout most of the game and are at least winning by 2 touchdowns. Not like a field goal or touchdown away.
So, what are secured L's in the schedule for you?
Secured L's, Buffalo for sure. I mean, they're the Buffalo Bills. I think they have a better offense. I think they have a better defense.
Better all around team, and they got a way better quarterback.
Yeah. It's hard for me to say secured L on any team. Because really, if I'm looking at the schedule, I don't think we're really secured L for any of these games other than Buffalo. I mean, I think most likely we're going to lose to Green Bay, and we'll see what happens with Dallas. Dallas is inconsistent. Sometimes they win games that they shouldn't, and then they lose games that they should win. But real on paper, Cowboys should beat us. But I would say really the only team I'm secured lost to is Buffalo, maybe Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's funny is like we're the youngest roster in the NFL, and Eagles have one of the oldest.
Yeah. James points out last year when the Eagles beat the Lions, they ran for 250 yards and 4 touchdowns. It was awful. Don't remind me, homie.
So basically saying stop the run, you win.
Yeah, I think totally force Jalen Hurts to pass. We win. We win these.
Mm-hmm.
Like honestly, like that's the thing is I think our team is capable of stopping the Eagles' run game. Like we got 3 good run stuffers on our D line: Hutch, Harris, and McNeil. And maybe Brockers can relight his old self and kind of become a solid run stuffer too.
He's on his way out.
He is, but we'll see what happens with him. He'll probably still be meh. He's getting
Right.
old, so
Well,
he's
that's
meh.
a player. Our
But
next player is big, and he's gone next year too.
yeah, yeah, and I don't know. I'm pretty confident that we have a good chance to win, but I'm also like they're also still a solid team too. So I don't know.
But you're not expecting us to blow them out.
Yeah. And Ramshouse says Devontae Smith and AJ Brown are top tier receivers. Everyone's scared of them, but they're not it yet. I gotta agree. AJ Brown's good, but the dude's career hasn't even reached 1,100 yards in a season before. He's not like a top 5 receiver, and someone to be like, oh no, he's so unstoppable. Especially because in the scheme he was in, it was really tailored to AJ Brown. Like it was. I watched a couple Titans games. It seemed like they schemed him specifically to get the ball only. And Devontae, he's a good receiver, but like is he any better than like Darnell Mooney or whatever? Let's see. What was Devontae Smith's stats last year? It was 1,000 yards and how many touchdowns? Um. Great. Google isn't showing me. Let me check ESPN. Oh, never mind. Devontae Smith didn't even have 1,000 yards last year. He had 916 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's not even like Marvin Jones. That's like Marvin Jones numbers. Is Marvin Jones scary to you, One Pride?
Marvin Jones?
Yeah, is Marvin Jones just some unstoppable force?
Not really.
Like, I'm not saying that Devontae Smith is Marvin Jones, but like that isn't some unstoppable scary stat line.
Devontae Smith can at least create separation. Marvin Jones could never.
Yep. I don't know.
I like Marvin Jones, but he's not a separator.
Yeah. But it's just my thing is it's not even. I was about to Rams house. You keep. I was about to say it's not even St. Brown numbers.
Wait, what? Hey, hold on. What Smith's numbers?
What?
What's Smith's numbers?
He had 916 yards. Sorry, I deleted the thing. Devontae Smith, ESPN. He had 916 yards and 5 touchdowns, 4.3 yards, 14.3 yards per catch. And Ramshouse also says, think about this: Amon-Ra and Devontae Smith are nearly identical. And he just shared me a thing on Discord. Let's see what he.
Amon-Ra has 912.
Yeah. So Amon-Ra and Devontae. So Devontae had 4 more yards, the exact same touchdowns, in
Damn,
totals.
they really didn't give up anything.
Oh, actually, technically, Amon-Ra had more touchdowns because he had the rushing touchdown. And let's see, in a per game basis, Amon-Ra had 0.4 less yards per game, same amount of touchdowns per game. Yeah, these guys are very similar. So, well, and also more importantly, Amon-Ra actually had and also Ramses also talks about Devontae Smith was the number one target all season.
That's even
And I was
worse.
actually about to say Amon-Ra was only the top target of the last, what was it, 6 games that he actually started to pop off. So imagine Amon-Ra on a full season versus Devontae in not a full season. Like I believe I calculated the other day, Amon-Ra was on. If he played that way all year, he would have had 1,300 plus yards and 10 touchdowns. Like really good year.
That's Pro Bowl.
Oh yeah, I can't believe anybody would trade for Rager. That's a true point, but overall, I don't know.
What's even worse
Perhaps
that,
it's the Kool-Aid in my blood, one pride. Perhaps it's because I'm a lot higher on the Lions than some other people are.
and
But
perhaps I need to take a drug test before you go after your little missions trip.
you're right. You're right. They'll find Kool-Aid in my veins.
What's this blue stuff?
Yep. And that's just my thing is, there's I just don't see the logic for they have a secured win. Um I'm just a lot more hyped on these guys, I guess, than other people are. So
Well, we're ascending, and we're a whole lot younger.
yeah.
Well,
So
majority of
Ramses, how did you so I was gonna ask you this real question. What makes you confident that the Eagles are gonna beat us? So
I'm
like
thinking
like yeah, to you, like what makes you so confident the Eagles are gonna beat us? What was your score? 34-21.
34-28.
So yeah, what made you confident for 34-28?
Um, our our secondary is still bad, and they got one of the best tackle duos in the league. I still feel like I said, it's possible that they could line Devontae Smith in the slot, and he could just work Mike Hughes all day, and possibly AJ Brown can bully Amani.
Okay, is that all your points? I don't want to
No,
interrupt you.
there's
Okay,
a bit more. Uh, and how is Big V gonna handle Javon Hargrave or Fletcher Cox?
okay, I'm not gonna interrupt you. Is that all the points?
Wow, you expect a lot more?
No, no, I don't want to interrupt you.
No, no.
That's happened to me too many times. Okay, so first off, I think Jayvon Hargrave lines up on Jonah Jackson's side, if I'm correct. Let me check up. Let me make sure of that. Yeah, Javon Hargrave, I think will line up on him. Hold up, let me recheck ESPN.
Now, can we run the ball?
Yeah. I don't know if we can. They got some good run stuffers, but who knows? Who knows? It depends also if our running backs can hit their holes and actually, bounce to the outside.
Well, this is a physical football team too. I think the Eagles are a really physical football team.
Yeah. Either way, even if Big V does line up on him, I don't think Big V's incompetent. I mean, I don't. I think what I counted. I don't know how many sacks he allowed in actuality, but I don't think he's a complete liability. I think it's gonna help that you know, I just don't think Javon Hargrave is gonna be. I don't think he's good enough to like absolutely eat Big V. I don't think Big V is like the best, but I don't think he's horrible. And so, Ramsdale says, "Here's the thing: the entire point of the Lions' running scheme is pulling guys and moving the line around. 1v1 matchups in the run game are not an exact science for the Lions." That is very true. I remember watching the San Francisco 49ers game last year. They had Sewell and Jackson switch guys, and they kind of like hit them from like a surprise spot, and it opened up a hole for Swift to run, into which he then ran right into a linebacker, but it gave 4 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So
But yeah, like I feel like one of our running backs has a big day too.
yeah,
I mean, it's a team sport. We can't expect like one guy just to blow up. We can't expect Amon Ra to blow up like that too.
yeah, I
Like
completely
he
agree.
have a good game, but it's like someone else has to have a good game.
Yeah. So overall, I think it's. I just think it's going to be a good game. I just wanted to set the record straight that this is not a secured L, but also I want some counterpoint. So you said O line they got some really good tackles, right?
Yes.
Do you believe that Aiden Hutchinson's worth the number 2 overall pick?
Yes.
Do you believe Charles Harris is going to still be as good like last year?
Possibly.
Okay. If Aiden Hutchinson's worth the number 2 overall pick, can he not beat an elite tackle?
He
Because Aiden Hutchinson is a number 2 overall pick. That's a guy who should be able to at least beat an elite tackle once, or at least get some pressures.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely think that Hutch has that ability.
Right.
And also James has got to leave. See you later, James. Thanks for coming, man. And so I think he has ability. And even if, like I said earlier, Hutch can just move into an inside and still get a pressure or a sack because that dude was freaking killing it at 3 tech in the offseason and in preseason.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Harris also has the ability to maybe get a pressure.
Right.
And so I just don't think the tackles are that big of an issue because we also have tackles. We have Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell. Both were great at their respective tackle positions.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a better interior line too. You got Joan Jackson, you got Frank Ragnow.
Frank Ragnow on the league.
Big V, I think's about Landon Dickerson level kind of ish. So I don't think it's too big. So and I don't know. I don't think the O line is that big of a difference. I've already kind of talked to you why I don't think the D line, the defense is really that so scary and unbeatable. And I don't know. It's just also I guess I know you're not confident in Jared Goff. I know that's also probably another big thing. And
Yeah.
but the thing is, I am pretty confident if he plays anything like he did that last 6 weeks, and I think he's actually be better than that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more confident that we can beat the Eagles.
Right.
Also, One Pride, Rams House asked you a question. One Pride, how will this game go? If it's a shootout, who wins?
It was a shootout.
I think he's asking you how the game goes, and if you say if it's a shootout, who wins?
The Lions.
It could be separate.
The Lions.
You think the Lions win the shootout?
Yes.
Okay. And he's already said how the game went. I think you said 34-28 Eagles.
I don't know how you're so high on you two are so high on JG. What are you about to say?
I think you said the game was, and then for your score prediction, you said 34-28 Eagles.
Yeah.
Okay. Ramshouse actually says Big V might have a better season than we think. And he says Jared Goff about to pop off. All right. You know what? I still got a couple more minutes before I have to get off. Let's talk Jared Goff, One Pride.
Oh boy! All right,
All right, let me play some scary theme song because I already know that went through your head. Actually, never mind. I don't want to get strike. Never mind. All right. So why don't you believe in Jared Goff all that much?
I just don't feel like he gives you much to offer. Like, I would like a quarter. I know it's kind of like hard to say. I would kind of like to get like a Pat Mahomes type quarterback or Justin Herbert type quarterback or Joe Burrow, and have someone throw on the run, escape a sack, have a cannon so he could throw downfield a little better.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying
you don't think Jared Goff is capable of moving around in the pocket and getting a throw in like Joe Burrow, right?
yes.
I kind of disagree with that. I don't know if I don't have the stat for it, but Jared Rams House showed me earlier that Jared Goff in the 2017 and 2018 he had over 100 rating by throwing outside the pocket. Um, and if what you mean by that is like moving around the pocket and having like a crazy good play, do you remember Jared Goff's throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown? Let me see if I can find it versus Chicago. Let me see if I can find it real quick. St. Brown Bears game. Let's see. Let's see. Can't find it. Okay, so basically what happened is Jared Goff was he evaded I think some pass rusher. I think it might have been Danny Trevathan. He evaded the tackle from that. He ran up to the other side, avoided some pressure, went to the left and threw the ball to Amon-Ra for a first down. And I noticed that he did that a lot more, especially in the last 6 weeks. He's also able to take a lot more of hits. Like that touchdown pass to Josh Reynolds. I bet you I can find that one. Josh Reynolds versus the Cardinals, Arizona. Dang, Twitter is just failing me right now. Okay, so Twitter is just not showing Josh Reynolds versus
No,
Arizona.
don't get it twisted. I don't think that Jared Goff is hot tomato trash.
Yeah,
Hot
yeah,
hot trash. But, I'm not saying he's Blake Bortles. I'm not saying that.
yeah. So so other than I guess moving around the pocket, what does this throw with this Joe Burrow offer that Jared Goff doesn't?
Um, what does Joe Burrow offer that Jared Goff doesn't?
Yeah, like what can Joe Burrow do that Jared Goff cannot?
Well, I said throw on the run. Scramble for first down. Not looking. He's jogging either.
I got the clip ready for me. Matt Waldman. That's who it was.
Loves to go downfield. And so, like when I saw Jared Goff last year, why is it every time there's a tiny bit of pressure, it's like the end of the world for him?
So okay, so you don't like so you think Joe Burrow handles pressure a bit better,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't think Jared doesn't when he's like trying to throw under pressure, right?
Yes.
So for one, Jared did a lot better about actually throwing under pressure once Josh Reynolds came, Dan Campbell took play calling, and Amon-Ra came out.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually does have it actually do have some examples of him evading pressure, especially when there's actual players to throw to. But here's the St. Brown play. Rams House actually was able to find it because he's a goat at this. And here we go. So here's a little bit of pocket work that Jared Goff can put. This is what he can do if he actually either A has players open and there's players. It wasn't Danny Trevathan. Is that Robert Quinn? Yeah, there he goes. Go through that little line there. And then boop. And he evades whoever that guy is. I think it's number 98. Don't know who that is. Boop. Throws it right over there to St. Brown. He started that was a lot more common from Jared Goff. At the end of the season, that you didn't really see too much of that in LA. I'll admit to that. And here we go. And here's the Josh Reynolds show. Pressure in his face. Guy was probably about to get hit. Threw an absolute dagger right to Josh Reynolds, that apparently, according to Next Gen Stats, had 21.1% probability of being completed. Second most difficult completed pass of that week. So, Jared Goff really improved about dealing with under pressure once he had guys open and he has actual threats. It's no different than Joe Burrow. Do you remember how bad Joe Burrow? Well, not how bad, but how much worse Joe Burrow was before he got Chase Young? Not Chase Young. Jamar Chase. I mean, Joe Burrow, when he didn't have an O line or receivers, he had 6.7 yards per throw, 13 touchdowns and 5 interceptions and 89.8 quarterback rating. I mean, that isn't exactly, I would say, any better than Jared Goff. In fact, that's exactly what Jared Goff kind of had for a while. He had .7, he had .1 less yards per throw, and also Jared Goff does actually have an ability to get first downs. He had 12 first downs as a rusher in 2020, and he had 9 first downs as a rusher in 2018.
Justin Herbert.
And so, and see, Ramsat's out here just supplying me with the goods. Wow.
Well,
So,
thing, and I gotta get ready to go.
oh, okay. Actually, you know what? You can leave, and I'll just finish off the Jared Goff hype. But
All right, so it's all good now.
yeah,
All right, you take care.
all right. See you, sir.
Okay, see you.
So, um, actually, I'm sure you actually. So on right here. So this was completion percentage during the Blitz this season. Jared Goff was 68.1 out of 94 passing attempts in terms of completion. Passer rating versus the Blitz this season. Jared Goff 103.0. So he's got some pretty good numbers versus the pressure. And then and here's even like, another play that we got to see from Josh Reynolds at the end. Right there. 39-yard touchdown. Pressure in his face again. Boom. Delivers a throw right over to Josh Reynolds for a touchdown. It's not like Jared Goff is incapable of making plays in pressured situation. It's no different than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was kind of mediocre. Sure, he was a rookie. You can have that saying. But he had mediocre numbers when he didn't have Jamar Chase with him. He needed weapons. He needed threats. And he played a lot better once he did. Jared Goff is no different than Joe Burrow in that regard. And so I don't know. I think Jared Goff we should have a lot more confidence. The Lions offense statistically was top 10 efficiency. I'll pull up the numbers for you guys right now. I shared it to myself a long time ago on my alt. Boom, right there. If you go over here we go. So I understand why Lions fans may believe Jared Goff isn't good at deep ball. Last year, he was 33rd in deep ball completion percentage out of 34 QBs that attempted to throw at least 25 times at 25.5. So, this is actually stats provided by Comrade Poco. So he says, naturally, I did what I do every time, slip between weeks 1 for 10 and weeks 11 for right. So, weeks 1 for 10, Goff was dead last, 34% of 34 attempts of completion percentage of 17.6, straight garbage. For reference, for the Rams, Stafford was 37.5 on 48 attempts. Weeks 11 for 18. Goff is now tied for 11th with 41.2% completion percentage on 17 attempts. Stafford was 43.3% on 30 attempts. So in 4 games Goff played in the back half of the year, he threw a deep ball 17 times, completed 7 times. 0 turnover replays with only 1 pass breakup. Had the second fastest time to throw of these QBs at 2.71, suggesting they are in rhythm and scheme throws. At the third highest quarterback passer rating of 122.5, only behind Aaron Rodgers and apparently Davis Mills. And holy crap, he had the lowest play action rate for deep passes of all QBs during that time frame as well at 11.8. So, he had this kind of stuff, and let me see if I can find his offense success rate stats in a bit. But he had top 10 offensive rating. I don't remember what it was. Offensive efficiency stats, not rating. I'm sorry. And let me see if I can find it. And it really shows that Jared can run a top 10 offense. Jared Goff top 10. Let me do my Discord search here. Old. Relevant. Okay. So Apparently, it's not showing up for me, but Poco showed basically the thing that he had like a top 10 efficiency stats. It was interesting, and I don't know. It's just I can't find it right now, but I'll have to try to find it and show you guys next weekend. Oh, and so yeah, I kind of agree with this, but so that's just kind of what I think. Lions fans is that I'm a lot more confident in Jared Goff than I think maybe a lot of other people are. He showed improvements. He has weapons. DJ Chark, Jameson Williams, um, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Hawkinson. He has a healthy line. He's got a good check down option. DeAndre Swift. Um, he has an offensive coordinator that's been working with him all season, and Ben Johnson, who's been absolutely raving about Jared Goff. Dan Campbell was even saying he had some excitement with him on Hard Knocks. I know you guys have been watching that. I think there's going to be a lot of likes to it. Yo, Doctor Detroit likes Goff. King. And so, yeah, I have to agree. As a running back, Swift has a lot to improve. The dude is so far only shown that he's just the cooler version of Theo Riddick. Detroit Lions offensive rosters. It was actually pretty interesting about the Detroit Lions offensive rosters. I just saw Dr. Detroit said 21st. The Lions offense was ranked 25th. And you think it's going to only improve to 21st? Yeah, I'm very excited too. I think everyone's pretty excited for the roster. I don't know. I've always been a bit more of an optimist, but I just think that right now there's a lot of things statistically that makes the Lions exciting. There's a lot of things that the players have done, and I don't know. It's like even right here, like Ramsdale says they were 23rd last year, so going from 21 is going from 19.1 points to 19.7 points per game, and I just think it's a matter of believing in Dan Campbell and developing second year talent and veteran talents, but also in the play calling of Ben Johnson and taking growth on Jared Goff. I'm impressed that he went to every practice. I just think the defense is the concerning thing. I've been watching a lot of that stuff, and I'm a lot more concerned about the defense than I am about the offense. I think the offense can be top 15, but I don't know. But I'll see you guys later. I gotta go eat some food, and I gotta go do some other stuff, and I'll see you guys later. I think the Lions are gonna win, guys, and see you guys later. One pride.